This is the quadrant method. We're going to be scaling up. So you're going to need to grab your supplies. So you're going to need a reference. You're going to need 9 by 11 paper with a 1/2 inch border because we're going to be making an 8 by 10 drawing. Pencil with an eraser, and then index card or scrap paper so we can use that to block off part of the reference so we can just draw one part at a time. So I'm going to be drawing my reference sideways. And I do that so I can really make that shift from looking at what it is to just being lines and shapes. And then when I'm scaling up, I'm going to use similar methods from when I was drawing exactly the same size as my reference. The difference is I can't use my pencil and measure exactly. So what I have to do is find what I call an anchor shape and then use that as the basis of my measurement of everything else. So for this, I'm starting out with that little frame line that I see. But then the first shape I'm going to draw is that kind of round loop shape in the middle. So what I'm going to do is base all the other shapes on the size of that shape. And then I can still use my pencil to get the angle correct. And then also keep in mind this is sped up 2 times faster than how I draw. This entire drawing took me almost an hour. So don't expect that you should be moving this fast at all. But so once I get that big shape, then I compare all the other shapes I see. So how big is that shape to the other shape? So I'm always making little comparisons. And the more you do this, the less that you're going to have to actually physically measure it. You're just going to be able to eyeball it. But that takes a lot of practice and a really good eye. So I see, where is that shape compared to that loop shape? Where does it start on that shape? So I'm just constantly doing little comparisons and then double checking my angles and the spacing. So you can see when I start drawing this, I stop and I realize that that middle shape is way too big. So all I do is erase, go back, and I will say I am drawing a lot darker than I normally would for a first layer. It's only so you guys can see it. Normally I would not draw this dark, and I also have to hold my pencil a little bit funny so you can actually see what I'm drawing. So it's a little bit awkward. But you can see I just make adjustments. So I'm looking at what is that little shape? Where in this quadrant does it belong? And I'm just constantly making little adjustments and comparisons. Alright, so now I'm going to do the one that is opposite. So I'm going to flip my paper over. And now I'm going to do this quadrant. This one is probably the toughest one. It has a lot going on. So it's really important if you're working on a really tough portion of your reference that you really go slow and try not to get discouraged. So if you need to take a break and come back, work on an easier area and then come back to it. So this shape in the middle is what I'm going to use as my anchor shape. So I'm going to try to get this as accurate as possible. So I'm also trying to see that it's in the proper portion of the quadrant, so it's not too high, not too low. So I'm using my pencil to make sure my angles are correct. And then really it's about taking my time and making sure things are correct. Don't rush through just to get it done. Just really take your time, and all of a sudden this is going to start to come together really nice. Things start getting a little hairy with this shape over here, so you'll see that, it takes me some time to figure it out. So I just step back, look at it, compare, well, where is this line on my anchor shape? Where is this line compared to this line? And then I just make adjustments as I go. Alright, so I'm about ready to move on to the third quadrant. So I'm flipping it over again. And I think actually this one was the hardest one to do. There is a lot of stuff going on in this one. A lot of different shapes. And a lot of really small shapes. But again, I just have to go slow. Really, really focus, and don't be afraid to make some mistakes, and don't be afraid to fix them either. Don't settle for less. Alright, just one more quadrant to go. This one was probably the easiest one. It had the least complicated shapes. So this one also took me the least amount of time. Alright, so then once you are finished, what I would like you to do is erase out those grid lines and then refine your lines. So any lines that are a little bit shaky or hairy, make them solid because you want this to look as best as it can. So this is going to take a little bit of time, but the results will make it worth it. It'll look like a really finished, nice, clean, neat, complete drawing. So make sure you do this accurately. And this, I think, is the best part. You're really just putting the finishing touch on your work and making it perfect. Alright, so as you are finishing up your drawing, don't forget that I would like you to mount it to black paper and then document your work. And I cannot wait to see your drawings, and you are going to impress yourself. If you took the time to do this, you are definitely going to impress yourself with how much better your eye and your skill set has gotten. So I look forward to seeing what you've done and accomplished in class. Good job.